How do you make it so good that the marketing can be mediocre? So for this, it's product innovation. So think about the differences between, I'll use an example with ours, with what we're trying to do at the moment, right? So we turn down so many people right now where it was a case of, how do we sell something and still help these people that don't actually qualify for what it is that we do? Because I'm like, I want to help as many people as possible, but I also want to run a profitable business. And so what I was then thinking about, and this only came like last week, I'd go, and the big part of that question is I want to add another revenue stream to the business, but I do not, and I will not sacrifice complexity or operational drag inside of the business. Right. And so I was thinking about product innovation. I'm like, what's actually out there in this space of helping businesses grow? You have business coaches, which is a case of like, hey, I've got a bunch of stuff. I'm going to teach it to. Most of it is very workshoppy as well. So here's a kind of a principle. Now you got to kind of figure it out for how you're going to apply it exactly into your business, which leaves a lot of question marks. It's great for some people, not great for another segment of people as well. Right. Then there's the case of like courses or books and stuff like that. I can get an idea of something, but then it's like, how do I actually do it? How do I fit with all of it? There's so many more question marks that can come up. Then there's like the done for you segment. If you look at a spectrum, there's like, just give me money. I'll do everything for you. Get out of the way. It's done in that aspect. And then I was like, hang on, maybe I've been thinking about it wrong. What if the secondary offer is a licensing model where it's a case of I do all of this work for all of these amazing businesses. I will give you the best copy, the best campaigns, the best funnels, the best updates every single month. And I was even thinking about it from a case of point of like back in like, doing the newsletter days where you would sign up for a newsletter and you'd get an actual like in the mail chunk of stuff that would be like swipe files, copies, like all of this kind of stuff. So I was like, what if we just did a licensing model where somebody paid $1,000 a month? I just gave them the best marketing material every single month. They have to go and set it up for themselves and can run with it. I was like, that's a win-win. But also I was like, I know this is contrarian out there. I don't want to build a community, like a school community. I don't want to do that. I was like, I would rather be an Uber driver than have to deal with that stuff. That's not where I want to put time and attention into. Another thing was for that revenue stream. And again, think about how you can apply this into yours is I don't want to be on group coaching calls. One, I think group coaching calls can be super sucky because someone's on for, let's say, a 90-minute call. They get 20 seconds to ask a quick question. They get a really small slice of time for that answer. And you're like, fuck, like I didn't really get my answer. So I was thinking, well, what's another way that I can get questions answered quickly, but in depth, right? And I was like, well, what if everyone could just ask questions in some sort of support ticket manner, and then we just recorded a private podcast so only members got the answers and it could be segmented down for them. And then everyone learns from everyone, but you could also be like, hey, between minutes 33 and 46, we're answering this. So you can go directly to that and get it, right? So think about how are you actually going to create a product that they desperately want. So where is it in product innovation that you can now start to think about what the is it that you're selling, but how do you actually make it far superior? Both. So think of like two circles overlapping. Both, how do you do it so the business is where you want to show up, right? For me, my rule was no group coaching calls. And I don't want to build a community to have to go in and start answering things in like a Facebook group, school community. That's all. It was, for me, that was like, they're the rules I'm planting for myself. So what's that product innovation? Secondly is stand out by adding like what's real value out there. So this is where like I really only go on social media to look at ads. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't look at stuff like I might every now and then, but I'll literally stop and scroll and stop on ads. And I'm just doing that to see what's actually going on. And then I'll do that for like partners. I'll go, all right, what is everyone in this one marketplace? And I just have to spend hours scrolling through, seeing what everyone's saying. I almost vomit in my mouth doing it because you'll just see the same messages, the same types of copy, the same types of videos every single time. And so you need to think about what is the actual value that I'm giving someone at the end of the day? So one is, what is it? So product innovation is how am I actually doing it, getting this person a result? Go.
Let's go 30 seconds for each business.
What is the value of someone getting a strap such from sales to with this? This is what's answered.
So 30 seconds from one of my guys is to see that no matter where, so to work out basically a blueprint on how they can move forward regardless of where they are, because our system works with anyone who's got fucking $10,000 or $1 million that they're making now. So we can move people forward, and we have done that in the past before with our system where the banks have said no, doesn't mean you can't move forward and make money out of property because you know what to do. So basically we can give people a way forward no matter where they are, no matter what they've been through, no matter what starting point they are, they can work with us to move forward financially.
So literally perfect for step one. Now simplify it. Now get it so you don't have to explain it in a lengthy thing and just keep for me, it's almost like I use like a cooking analogy. It's like, how do I distill this down and down and down and down? Because I want it to be able to be as simple and as short as possible to be able to get that through. Because ideally, what I'm really looking for is that first sentence of copy I can run that ad off. That's what I'm really trying to get to. I'm trying to get to that, and then a couple of bullets that I can then break it down into, then flesh the rest out.
Is it the structure or like the whole how to X E Y without Z?
That's that's one of that's a headline framework that's
It's very common.
Very common. It works like gangbusters as well, but it's when it goes to the actual case of what's the value that I'm adding, it's what's the result that I'm able to promise. And I say to the boys, I'm like, okay, this is the razor of decision making. Gun to your head, right? Gun to your head. Are you confident that this message is going to perform? Right? And it's just trying to add that seriousness of, am I willing to put my fucking dollars behind this because I know that this is going to work? Because if I'm not, that's okay. Go back to the drawing board and re-engineer the offer and go from there. Right? And so that's where it's what's the value of the opt-in? What's the value of getting on the call? What's now the value of why they're going to pay me money because of what I'm promising them at the end of the day?
So we get a lot of questions out to the core. We can be big away or popular investing with the upside down for $1 million.
Yeah, great. Now take that. What's a game plan? What is a game plan?
Okay, a strategy is step by step.
So it's how can I give you a dead simple checklist for you to follow? How can I give you a 3-point checklist every single day so that in the first 15 minutes of your day, you know that you've done your business building? See where I'm trying to head? It's what's the thing that is I know what I'm getting myself into. And then I know that I'm going to be able to use that, because it's almost like the case of if I want steak for dinner tonight, do you know what I mean? And you put me in front of a burrito place, I'm I don't care how good your burritos are. I want a fucking steak. Do you know what I mean? And so that's where it's why I add the third point is understand your market deeply. What do they want? Right? Because there is definitely the case of, are you trying to sell them something which they don't actually want to buy that thing or in that way? Right? And it could be a case of, if somebody's wanting a done for you offer and you're selling a do it with you offer, I don't care how good your messaging is, they're not going to want it. No. They're just not going to buy. They're not going to go into it. So it's almost can you meet them to where they're at? And then so the understanding the market, again, on one side, it's the buyer and what problem are they wanting to solve and how are they wanting to solve it? Do I understand those things? And then in a marketplace scenario, what is everybody else saying? Because we use the phrase throw stones at your competitors, right? So if you see my marketing, who are the stones I throw at? Business coaches and agencies, right? I go, business coaches, you've probably spent heaps of money in them. You've probably been left with a ton of questions and not gotten there. And I use the phrase of, if that were the solution for you, you wouldn't be reading this right now. You'd be on a yacht off the coast of Croatia working on your suntan. right? Like that was kind of the language and messaging I get there. Use exactly that. If you thought this was going to be the solution, you wouldn't be reading this right now. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I can change their mind and go, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be doing that thing because I've tried it. And therefore, if I keep trying to look for the next business coach, dude, you just keep looking in the wrong place, right? If I keep looking for another diet off the website, I'm still not going to get what I need at the end of the day, right? That's kind of the case is. So understand, what does the person want? How do they actually want it? And then what is everybody else saying in the marketplace?